Hey guys, I think we are on live now. If you are on and can hear me, pop a comment so I can see. Kelly, good morning. All right, so we are on. So thank you guys for joining me on this training today on kind of AI, SEO, GEO. If you were on the Icing Images Live, you kind of already got a good, you can hear me. You kind of already got idea of where this is going and what we're doing. So this is kind of the first in a series of discussions that we will be doing over SEO, AI, and kind of all how that relates to your business. So we're going to give everybody just a couple minutes, see if a few more people want to jump on, and I'm just going to share this for a second. If you have specific questions for today, go ahead and ask those as well so that we can make sure we answer those too. So Kelly, do you have any questions today that you were hoping to get answered during this? All righty. Just moving my windows here. Not that, you made it through a third of the workbook. Well, awesome. That's great. Flute Goddess 11, good morning. I'm glad you can hear me as well. Did you have a chance to download the workbook yet? If not, it is a free link or a free workbook. It is down in the comments. Oh, good. You already changed a lot on your Google page. That's awesome. C-suites, yes. So this is going to be pretty much a refresher. If you were on Icing Images Live, we're kind of going to go over what we went over, maybe a little bit slower, and where I can answer more specific questions. And then we're going to break out some individual work sessions throughout the rest of the month in September as well. So a day where we will just hit the Google business page, a day where we will just hit kind of chat and AI agents and how you can work those into your stuff. But Linda's at Linda's Gone Cookies. That's awesome. Well, I am so glad you guys are on today. So we are going to go ahead and get started so we can get through the stuff. And I'm going to try to watch the comments on the side. So if you guys are having questions, go ahead and answer them. If you see me stopping to read, that's probably why. So the whole reason we are doing this is because SEO in a way has changed. And I want to make that very clear. The way we used to do SEO still matters because the new changes really rely on a solid foundation of just regular SEO. But there are some things that are changing as far as, just popping keywords and trying to stuff keywords into titles and tags and stuff that AI is reading differently than necessarily how Google used to. And even Google, when you go to search something, you now type in something and you get that Google answer in the paragraph before you even get the list of businesses and things that you're looking for. So what is it that Google is looking for that makes you go in that list? And that is kind of what we want to focus on. So in the future, you're going to hear a bunch about AEO or AIO, which is artificial intelligence optimization, versus SEO, which was just search engine optimization. And that is when you wanted to optimize your website to be able to be found in Google or Safari or whatever search. Google is the primary with that because you always said, hey, I need to look something up. Let me Google that answer. So now when Google is giving answers, it's not just looking for those words to give websites. It's actually giving a paragraph. You can actually continue to type in Google right there and talk to it about those results and ask more questions. So that is the goal of how to be found in kind of how that is working now. So you had search engine, which you'll hear is SEO, search engine optimization. And that is just getting your website optimized, running properly on the back end to be found by Google. And now you'll hear AEO and GEO, which AIO, which are just the like answer optimization and generative engine optimization. So you'll hear different names coming out of those that sound like a lot and they can sound scary, but I just want to assure you they're really not. More than anything, it's just learning really your basics and having good basics so that it's just little changes that you need to make for these new kind of tools that are coming along. So with that, we are going to go ahead and move along. So SEO helps Google find, understand, and index your business. And so this is still incredibly important because Google still needs to be able to do that. It is what everything else is kind of going to fall back to. One of the best ways you can do that is if you have a Google business profile. You'll see that as GBP, like reference for short as well. And it is free. You do not have to have a website to do it. So even if you are a Facebook, Instagram only type person, you don't have a website set up yet, you can use Google Business Page for your business, and you absolutely should, because that is how your local baker or your local clients are going to be searching for bakers. There are other tools that if you have your own website that Google can help and you will benefit from. But the Google Business Page itself, you do not have to have a website, which is awesome. And that is where Google's going to go to pull a lot of your information, especially if you don't have a page yet. So let's just say in the comments, like how many of you guys already have a website, or how many of you have a Google Business Page set up yet? If you can comment along about that. So what Google does is if you have a web page, it needs to be able to read your web page, and it needs to be able to kind of catalog it. So think of it kind of like a library. It needs to be able to read the book, and then it needs to be able to know where to put it. So that's called indexing on Google. So Google needs to be able to scan your page, take in the content, and then know where to file it. So that when someone knows or searches for a baker in your area, it already has that information set aside that it can come back and give them your business. So let's see. C-Suite, she said, yes, you have a website and Google page. Awesome. Kelly, you have a website and Google Business Page now. Yeah, awesome. And Flute Goddess, yes, Linda. So yeah, so that's awesome. If you guys are already starting out having that all the better. So crawling is when Google discovers and visits your page. So that if you have a website, it needs to be able to crawl your page. It does not always automatically do that. And that's where you can go in to your Google tools and actually put your URL in and tell it to crawl your page. It'll do that. Sometimes it takes a few days, and it'll tell you when it's done. You want to do that and make sure every single one of your pages on your website, Google has crawled. So it may have crawled your home page, but not all your products or not your FAQs. And every little page underneath the page. So if you hit products and then you hit cakes and then you hit chocolate cake, you want each of those pages to be crawled by Google so that they can know where to index it. And that is kind of where they stick it so that they know how to find it later on. And then ranking is where Google decides where you should appear. And that depends on a lot of factors, depending on your page, depending on things like reviews are so important, and they still are. If you have clients, if you have friends and family that have had, your cakes, your desserts, people will leave you a good review. It is so, so important to get those on there. So don't feel bad about sending a client, hey, can you leave me a review, and sending them your review link, because you can get your review link on Google. and send it directly to people to just click on that link and they can leave you a review. Repeat again how you do that. Which part, Kelly? Which part do you want me to repeat again? I said a few things since I saw that comment. The Google crawl. So yes, in your Google, do you have Google like Analytics set up as well? Let me. So to get Google to crawl your page, you would go into your Google Analytics and it will tell you kind of how your page is ranking. It'll give you your URLs for all your different pages, and you can copy and paste them in there. And I'm trying to see, I don't know. Let me type in really quickly. Let me see if I can Google or if I can share my screen real quick. Sorry, I'm just trying to pull up. It is my Google, it's called a Google Search Console, not Google Analytics. It's like, where did it go? Let me see if I can pull mine up. And all right, let me try to screen share here. Overview. All right. Oh, perfect. There we go. So this is your Google Search Console, and this is where you are going to go if you want it to crawl your page. So Google Analytics, Google Search Console, Google your business profile. There's lots of different tools that Google has for different, just watching different insights and things on your page. So right here is where I would have it crawl my page. And so I can look at my performance. This is for my Whisk manager site. So it's still relatively new. So we're still building this out and kind of all that, but I can come over here and I can see 57 of my pages have been indexed, 72 have not. And it'll tell you why they weren't indexed as well and what you need to do to fix it. Some of this will be just like duplicate pages that it'll see. It was discovered, but currently not indexed. So those are going to be the ones that we are wondering, hey, why aren't these pages indexed already? So what you can do is you can come down here and you can see exactly what pages on your website are not indexed. And you can just copy them and bring them up here into your search bar and paste it. And it's going to tell you it's not on Google and to request indexing. And that's what we want to do. And you want to go through all of your pages like that, and it'll test it to see if it can be indexed, and then it'll submit the indexing request. So they can take a couple of days to index and go through. And sometimes it'll come back and you need to look at, what's going on with the page that it didn't index, and you can request it again if it did not. So that is kind of what your Google console looks like. You have your overview page on it, just different insights that it'll give you of how many people have been clicking, of how many impressions that you have had. You can change your days up here to, in the last search through how long. So just to kind of keep an eye on what people are looking at. where people are going, what pages they are going to are the most popular on your site. Run your business like a bakery. That's on one of my top ones up here. You can also see what's going up, what's trending down, if it was up for a while. And you can tell where people are even coming from on here as well, from down here. So we got most of our users are from the United States, but you can also tell where other people are coming from, and what they're kind of searching for that are leading to your site. So mine's a little different because it is set up for, the whole United States, whereas if yours is local, you can really focus on your local keywords and things like that, so that they're able to find you in yours. I'm just looking at the comments right now. All right, so I think I'm caught up with those. So let me close out of this here, and we will move along. So were you able to see that? Okay, the Google search console. How do you get to Google? Do we search? So you just search Google Search Console, and if you haven't signed up, you want to be on Chrome, and you want to be on your Google account. So if you already have a Google account, you want to be in that, and then go to Google Search Console. You may have to sign up for that separately from analytics, icing images. Oh, Deb, is that you, or is that somebody else on for you? Yeah, so if you want to sign up for the Search Console, put in your website so it knows what it's looking for, because otherwise it's not, it's me, it's Deb. So yeah, put in your website. It will be connected to your kind of all the analytics and the business page and all that as well, so that it will be able to kind of just keep an eye. You'll be able to keep an eye on your site. Let's see. Thank you for showing me a visual learner. That is exactly what we're going to do in our next session. I think we'll probably start with the Google Search Console and just break that down between that and the Google business page, so that we can't start a whole nother page and have it actually, go out and you have to be approved. You have to submit your verification for a Google business page, but we can still walk through up until that point visually of how that works, as well as the Search Console and the stuff, because it is really neat. Google has so many amazing tools and stuff to be able to watch and help your business with that. So your Google business profile, if you're selling locally and you don't have one, you are most likely already eligible. I know on our live the other night, someone had selected restaurant, and so theirs wasn't showing up because they didn't have a handicap access, and they had selected that they didn't have handicapped access because they were a home cottage bakery, and so it was dinging them. It wasn't giving them as high a search. You can select you are a service area versus your a specific location. So that's what I did with Whisk Manager. I'm a service area versus a specific restaurant or location, and that will help you not have to pick options if you have handicap access and that kind of stuff, because you are serving an area versus having a physical location. And this is kind of, hopefully, if you already have a website, Google Business Profile works with your website, and they both work together to give you a stronger presence on Google. So you really want to have both. I think most people in the comments today said that they already had a website, and so it might be better to say service. Yeah, service area. Well, it's not just service as in bakery, but it says service area. So even if you were a plumber or an electrician or a bakery, that's still what you are, but your service area is set up to, in mine would be Stephen City or Winchester. So your location. And then your business profile, you don't have to update it as constant as social media, where you are updating constantly and giving people posts, but you should, make a effort a couple of times a month to log in and give a couple new picks, or if you're having an event, adding your events on there. If you're going to be at a certain location for like a farmer's market or pop-ups, anything that's kind of waking up that Google space and saying, hey, I'm here, I'm active, show customers when they're looking for business, show them me. I'm here, I'm alive, I'm in it. And that's just going to help. And it's going to help, more reviews. Again, so just at least a couple times a month, just pop in a new picture. If you're using different platforms that will post to different, like Buffer or something like that, that they will post to different platforms, I can have one picture and it will set up to go to Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, but I can also set my Google business page on there. So all I have to do is have that core platform. I schedule my post and it's already going to update my Google business page for me. And I'm not going to have to worry about logging in and updating a separate page. And you don't even have to update it with every single post, just a couple of those a month. Send them over to your Google business profile and tag that so that it is updating it for you. So with Google and AI, we've kind of gone from, again, putting in those keywords to AI being able to have a conversation with you. And that leaves us kind of a line of, we need the machines to understand us and really tell people what we are, answer the questions the way a person would talk, but we need the machines to understand us, and you need your clients to trust you. So you got to write your stuff kind of in that balance for both, which pretty much is more or less just writing what you would write or how you would speak to your clients. So we talked about this the other day on the live, that if a customer is always asking you, how much do you charge for your cakes? We used to put prices vary, message us for a quote. Very simple. That's what, some keywords on our pricing page that would get, us found in Google and stuff like that, but nothing bigger. Now we need to actually pretend like you are speaking directly to one of your clients who ask you in person. You're in an event and someone comes up to you and says, I'm looking for a cake for my daughter's wedding. What are your prices? You wouldn't just tell her, well, go put in an inquiry and I'll get back to you. You would ask her, when her date is it, peak season? Maybe you have off season rates. Is it a large wedding? Is it a honeymoon or a elopement? How big of a cake they're looking for, different tiers. So word something that goes along like that. It would depend on, on your date and your location, the size, word it, use AI to help you write your answers for questions like that. But those are the things that people are searching for. I know pricing is always a huge one that our clients are searching for. They want an affordable bakery that can do such and such design. And that is what they go on and they search. So word your answers to meet them. You still tell them prices vary, yes, but word it the way you would if you were talking to them directly. So with that, the Google, kind of your analytics and your Google Search Console, they will tell you how many people you have coming to your page. They will tell you how many clicks that you have. Of like, if you are showing up 1,000 times when somebody searches Winchester wedding bakery, you may be showing 1,000 times, but you're only getting 10 clicks. What is it about your bakery in the small snippet that is showing on that search page? What is it that is making them not click on you? Because if you're coming up and you're showing that many times, there's something about the information that is making people not want to click on your site. They should always be clicking on it. So they will click on it, and that will give you the analytics of who is kind of clicking what and where they are. That's in the Google Search Console that we just saw. And I can pull that back up if you guys would like. Here, let me go back to it. Just want to make sure you can see, because I can't. All right, so here you guys can see my search console. So you can see how many impressions I've got. I've got over 8,000 impressions, and I've had 61 clicks in the last 28 days. So I'm coming up in the search, but somebody right now isn't necessarily always clicking on, I want more than 61 clicks for 8,000 impressions. So what is not resonating with someone to make them want to click? Are they looking for something else other than a bakery app? And yet I'm what's coming up when they're searching for a baker. So they're not searching for me. So that is, if I'm coming up, someone's searching for a wedding cake baker and they're getting Whisk Manager, they're going to say, oh, well, that's a baking app. That's not what I'm looking for. Then something in my language needs to change to make sure my impressions are coming up on the right client or the right person who's searching screen. If they're searching for a plumber, it doesn't matter if your cake page comes up or if Whisk Manager comes up, because that's not what they need. So what on my page do I need to change to make them click, or to make my impressions land on the page they need to land on? And again, all that is back end kind of stuff. And so with my wedding cake bakery, I've had years of analytics and data to kind of go through and make sure it's running perfectly. Whisk Manager is new, and the search and setting up all the Google Analytics and stuff is even newer. So this is kind of, we're growing this out. So I thought this would be a great time to work on it as I'm moving Whisk Manager in and show you guys kind of how it changes and how we adjust and how we set up as we go along with it, because it's kind of fun to see and to learn. So just click around and play in here, because you can kind of see a lot of different stuff. Down here, you can see your different pages, who's clicking, how many impressions. You can search by the days, the average position that it's ranking. So we want to be in the first page of Google. People don't have the attention span to keep clicking around on different pages, and they're going to go with who ranks the highest because they're going to trust those searches more than people on the third and fourth pages, because they're going to have the best reviews. They're going to have the best websites. That's why they are ranking at the top on Google. So let me go just through some different things on here. You will want to, we'll get into this at a different part, but this is a site map. This is what you submit to Google originally, and it will kind of crawl your website to get the layout of it, almost like an actual map of how all the different URLs kind of spin off of each other and go. And that is what gives it the, when we came back to, let's see, pages here, lets it know all the pages that are in this. So, so again, it just shows you do have to get verified. So usually it can be a couple of different ways. They can send you a postcard to the address that you put in if you don't have yours yet. You can also, they can do a phone call. I had a friend who had to do a video walkthrough. She had an actual storefront, and we had to record the street sign and record the post signs out front and do a walk-in into the facility and different stuff. So there's a few different ways that sometimes they require you to verify, which is odd, but it gets it done. It doesn't take too long. If you, and I will say this, you will get, as soon as you sign up for your Google business profile, you will start getting spam. So people will call you and they will tell you that they are from Google and they're here to help you sign up, and this and that and the other, and do not fall for that, because it's crap. You can always call or reach out to Google yourself if that's something that you're needing help set up. But again, we're going to walk through this more as well as we go along the next few weeks. And if you guys tell me in the comments exactly like what it is that you need most, we can tailor those trainings to those things. So if it is more Google Search Console or setting up the business Google profile business page, how to get more reviews, things like that, reach out to your local other businesses in your area. So if you do wedding cakes and stuff, you probably know some wedding planners, you probably know some venue owners that you've delivered to, not just your clients. Think about the other businesses who, hey, leave me a review and drop your review link and I will give you a review back. So think about how you can kind of bump those reviews up at the same time. So Google Analytics is a little bit different. So we had the Search Console, and that kind of tells you what happened before people got to your website. So everything kind of we just went over. A client puts in wedding cake baker in such and such area, and they come up, they see your bakery. It tells you how many impressions there are. It tells you how many times people clicked, what pages, kind of that stuff on the Google side. But once you get into all that and you want to know the exact data of what they're doing inside your website, if they're checking out, if they're filling out contact forms, did they go to other pages? Again, did they purchase? Did they come from Facebook? Did they come from Google? There's lots of even little tracking things that you can put in there that kind of watch that customer and see where they came from, what they did next. And that is what you're going to find in your Google Analytics page. And so you're going to kind of want to set all these up and just watch the back end of your business. Even if you're taking on, Monday morning is maybe you're a little more downtime. You've worked your butt off all the end of the week. You've delivered and done just, weddings and everything else on Friday and Saturday, Sunday. Monday morning, come in and check your Google Analytics. Just give yourself even an hour with Google Analytics and your social media scheduling, and it's going to make a world of difference. If you set that time aside and just come in and check these things. Google Trends is another free tool. And you can just come in and kind of search what people are looking for, because we as bakers say different terminology than the public is going to look for. So I can use bespoke wedding cakes and but that's not what a client is going to search for. They may search for upscale. They may search for high end. What are they searching for in your niche, and what words are they using? That is the wording you want to have on your page. That doesn't mean you can't have other words in there and speak naturally the way you speak. But to get found, we want to have the words that relate to them. And how we talk is not always the same. They're not going to use the same searches, the same things that we are. So go on and look at what is trending, what Google has, Google Keyword Planner, see what keywords are popular and what you should be using, because while we're not trying to stuff everything with keywords, kind of like the old SEO, keywords are still rich. That is something we are still using and still do need. So we shouldn't be building our page around a keyword, but we should be building keywords into the phrase that we're building that on. So that'll just help you kind of, again, go from the little phrases that we are thinking to what your client is thinking. And then Google Merchant Center is another option if you are selling online. This definitely doesn't apply to everyone, but if you have products that you are actually selling, if you're selling cookie cutters and shipping, you can set this up and keep an eye on your selling and your sales and everything as well with that. And then there are Google ads. And we talked about this if you were on the live the other night. Ads are a basically pay to be found. So if SEO is you earning your spot on that list, Google Ads are you purchasing your spot on that list. So basically, you earned your visibility versus you paid for your visibility. And both are great. Both have their advantages, and both have you can use and need both of them. But I will stand by that until you understand your SEO and how traffic is getting to you and how you're appearing organically, I would not pay for advertising. So before spending money, you need to understand what you're selling, what your customer is worth, and what you're actually measuring. You have to have those kind of figured out before moving to advertising. Otherwise, you're going to have no idea, did you pay for those ads or were you going to reach them organically? Was that ad that you paid for worth the customer that you got or the customers? Did it bring in revenue to cover that ad and then to still make a profit? Because with, the cost of food, the cost of ingredients, the cost of things going up, even when bakers are raising their prices, they're finding prices of ingredients go up even more. So that price raise did not earn them any more money. It may be if that covered the ingredients cost. So you need, which again comes back to, do you know your ingredient cost? Do you know what you're spending on your products? Which being able to figure that out. So that kind of even running your business part of your ingredients cost and how much you're charging comes back to the other side of SEO. Because if you want to start paying for ads and visibility, and it can have great benefits, but you need to know what you're measuring and what you're measuring it against. And so that is definitely something we will be covering more. Because I don't want you to waste your money. You don't want you to waste your money. Google would love for you to waste your money, but it's not necessary. We also are moving into AI is now doing ads. So ChatGPT, did I say that right? Because I always mix up the letters. I don't even know. So Google or Chat is now letting you purchase ads. So same kind of thing on Chat. You or Claude or any of the AI agents that you can use, Gemini, Copilot, they are kind of the same. People are having a conversation, so they're no longer just looking for an answer. They're looking for the AI agent to convince them what product to buy. They're looking for, last night wanted a red light mask for my face and went to Amazon, and I was finding different red light mask, and every single one I took a screenshot of and I dropped it over in Claude and had a conversation in Chat to see what it would recommend. At the end, I went with the results that the AI agent gave me because it could give me more information than I was going to be able to get myself. Not only did it take that Google picture, the Amazon picture that I sent it, but it searched the company's website for those products that were on Amazon. It searched the FDA records to tell me which ones had FDA approval. It searched different like wavelengths of the red light and all those things, and would say, well, just because this one says that doesn't mean it's better than this and that and the other, and a bunch of terminology I didn't understand going into it. But I took the recommendation after searching of what it told me to buy. And so that is what we want to be doing with our businesses in front of AI. So people are searching and having conversations. We want to come up naturally in those search results. You can't just pay or tell Chat, register my business like you can with Google right now. If you have Shopify, you can link into Shopify with your products, but you can't just say, hey, I'm here, crawl my webpage to Google or to Claude or Chat. They have to find you. And so when people start talking about all those terms, AEO, IEO, GEO, it really just comes back to good SEO on your website that talks to people in the voice that you talk to people and answers questions. So good FAQ pages, good just question answering on just random, not random pages, but if it is your menu page, put in a paragraph somewhere about, choosing flavors and answer a question in it. Just kind of drop where it's natural little tidbits into different things. If you are part of Chamber of Commerce, if you are part of any like wedding groups in your area, wedding professional groups, if you're part of different cookier clubs and things like that, ask them to link your website in theirs, and also link theirs if you are part of groups like a chamber or professional wedding organization. If you know somebody who does a blog and you can ask them to do a blog post, you linking out websites and especially other people linking you on theirs raises your trust level inside Google, and that bumps you up. Those are huge. So anyone that you can kind of, hey, I'll tag you in this blog post. Definitely have a blog page on your website. I would say, I know it's a lot to keep up with, but again, you can use AI to help with some of it. You don't want it to be your whole voice on your blog, but you can definitely use it to help you write a couple of blog posts that elevate your website, because you can definitely link out in blog posts to other sites, and other sites can definitely link you in, which even is good on like Whisk Manager, because if you have a page on Whisk Manager, you have outgoing links on our bakery page and things like that. So that is a place that you are getting outbound links coming or inbound to your site there. So I see I have a question here. Let me move over. I receive a monthly automatic email from Google, which gives me some basic analytics. I never really understood to take a deeper dive. Does this mean I have a Google Search Console? Probably. I think like when you kind of set up your Google business, it gives you access to all of those things. I don't know that you have to log into each specifically, but I will check on that. Create like a specific account. I think once you start creating your business account on Google, you have access to those things. And if they're already sending you an automatic email, then you have your analytics or your search console set up enough, and it has already crawled your page to be doing that. So that's awesome. That puts you kind of ahead of, the game in a lot of ways right there already. So your homepage on your website, that's where Google is going to get a lot of its information, because it's someone front and center. So for Google and for your client, it should tell people as soon as they land on your homepage what you do, where you do it, and who and what you serve. They should not have to scroll down to the bottom of the page looking for maybe a address that you have on there. They should not have to try to figure out if you make cakes or cookies, or it should be a very clear, beautiful, clean page, but showing them who you are. If you have an about page, it should be clear, an about button to go onto there and read more about you. But it should be very clear on your homepage without them having to go to a bunch of different places what you do, and how to find you, and if you're even local to them. And I can't tell you how many web pages I've been to just trying to figure out, are they local? Is this a service I can even use? And it gets frustrating, and then you can't find it, and you are into the page, and then you like it, and then way down into it, you find out it's not even in your area, and so it's not going to make any difference for you. So definitely make sure that your homepage answers those questions. And what you do, kind of what services do you do? Wedding cakes? Do you do custom cookies? Do you offer, full buffet, dessert buffet options. Do you deliver? Do you set up and serve? There are some bakeries that set up, especially if you have like mobile carts and things like that, where you're serving directly out of them. Um, Google should know that. So whatever is on your page, make it easy for Google to understand you, make it easy for your customers to trust you, and make it easy for them to take the next step. So you definitely want to have a clear contact page where they can contact you directly, or a clear phone number or email, whatever yours is. I prefer a contact page because then they're not copying an email and having to go somewhere else into their email, paste it, and message you. A contact page does all that. If you are working with Whisk Manager, and you have that integrated into your website, anytime they submit in the contact page, it goes directly into your Whisk Manager portal. So they are already in there on your dashboard for you to start creating the order and start having that contact. And it's a great place to keep it all organized. It's a great place to keep like your recipes and things attached to that order, so you know exactly what you're making, what your profit is after your supplies and your ingredients. And that is stuff that you are going to look at when you want to go into paid advertising. And we talked a little bit about that. Chat is one of the first ones that is offering advertising on its AI searches. So it will not be doing it. The ads will not show up right now for the paid plans, but for the free versions of Chat, people are going to start seeing ads. So if they are on there searching for a bakery and you have a paid ad, those things are going to start coming up as well. It's still going to give them the same conversation. You can't pay to be in that conversation, but you can pay for an ad on the side. And so, say somebody is searching, even for me, if I'm trying to reach people to show them Whisk Manager, and I was paying for a chat ad. Anytime somebody is on kind of looking for how to run a cake business or how to start a cake business or bakery software, I'm going to target those customers so that in the side, I could pay for ads and I could get that. But I still want to make sure in the comments, in that text, in that chat log, that that's where I'm coming up the most, because just because the ads are an addition doesn't take away what we need to build out on being able to be found organically. So if you guys have any other questions on what we have talked about so far, we are coming up on about 50 minutes, and I want to make sure I get to your questions. And I also want to hear, like, if we do a live next week, what would be the best? Do you want to walk through Google Console and setting analytics and console and everything kind of up from the beginning? Do you want to understand more business baking related stuff? We're going to schedule quite a few lives out. So let me know which ones you guys, which take a drink here, which ones you guys want to see. When you are building out your pages and you are trying to rank in that algorithm, we're not trying to trick the algorithm into noticing our business, but we do need to put in those words to make sure they understand us, but naturally. So again, be you, but be it so a machine can understand you. And the machines nowadays are understanding more and more natural language. And so that is what we want to use. The goal is to make your business incredibly easy to understand, not just to customers, but also to AI. So again, Google understands it, AI systems understand it, and your customer can trust it. You win. That's exactly what we're looking for. You can definitely email me with some suggestions on future lives, because I know this is a lot of information to take in. And this is kind of my first live doing on Whisk Manager. So really it's just kind of the the breakout mode, even for me to pop on and kind of get the flow of doing this and answering questions while doing this as well. I've done a lot of lives on tutorials and a lot of lives with icing images. But for Whisk Manager, this is our first one. So if you have ideas and things that you would like to see, I would love to hear those, because yeah, again, we really want to break it down into smaller groups where we can kind of just work, and even possibly doing some more Zoom style where you guys can we can actually all talk together, which I think would be really, really awesome. Let's see. Icing Image says, I want to make a point that you should always list all the areas that you serve. So you do not just say Winchester area, for example, but all the cities around you that you could possibly want to service. Yes, that is huge for being found in the search results, is having those areas listed. And you can even have pages kind of built out. They don't all have to be actually tagged on your site, but so that you are like, they don't have to be on the menu, but they're still live. But if I go to whiskmanager.com/Jen's house, and if I had that page live, you could go to it if you knew the URL. But if you don't know the URL and it's not on the menu, you're not going to just go and find it. But if I had all sorts of, I serve, Jen's house area and my street and different things about it, it's still going to be a page that Google's crawling and kind of learning about my business. We could talk more on that too, because having different pages set up with different areas, especially for local, if you're selling products like cookie cutters or things internationally or just nationally, that SEO is a little harder than local, but there is a ton of tips for local SEO like that will help your business shoot up. This has been fantastic. If you get a way to import data into Whisk Manager, Kelly, what data are you trying to import? Let me know below, because we are working on imports right now, trying to get some Shopify data on there. You can import data from other bakery softwares as well. And you can also export. So there are some programs that do not let you export your data from their software systems. We don't want that. We want you to be able to take your clients and your business migrating from Baked Genie to Whisk Manager. You should be able to download your data from Baked Genie. I am not sure if they're one of the ones that allow or don't allow, but you can definitely upload your information from Baked Genie. I know there was one that was not allowing downloads, and I don't remember who it was, which I think is unfair, because they're your clients, they're your products, they're your business. You should be able to take them with you. Even at Whisk Manager, if you decide to leave Whisk Manager, it's your data, you take it with you, so that you can easily, so you should be able to export a CSV file from Baked Genie, and then you can upload it. But we can email me and we can kind of walk through that together, and I can try to help you as well. I see share with fellow bakers. This is a free service that can help educate people you know and love. Yes, so that's what we're trying to do. I know Deb, she does her lives every Tuesday night. So you guys may have already, I know a couple of you said you saw this on the live and you needed to recap. So you are already familiar with icing images. But if you're not, definitely catch their Tuesday night lives, because again, that is just it's a free resource to get you guys moving and get your businesses out there. So the more businesses, or the more business you do as a business, the better off you guys are, and the better off if you're getting products maybe from icing images or you're using Whisk Manager, right? That benefits all of us in the end. So we love to share the resources and the information we have. And I know Deb at Icing Images does too. She says she'll be quiet now. Maybe. So This was about supporting you and you are now pushing my lives. No, we do that for each other, right? So yeah, definitely. It is Tuesday, so Deb will be on tonight as well. Um, and I will be out doing some, there's a watch party tonight for some of the vendors who were at the Balin um, wedding that we did for what's the name of the show? Oh gosh, some Balin Out Loud on TLC. So I hope to maybe do some checking on Facebook, doing a couple live videos from that watch party tonight because Sugar Reels um, was at the wedding, as well as my wedding bakery, Tears in Heaven. You are listed to be on our live tonight. I am, or Kelly is. You may see me on your live from the watch party. So, which could be fun. So we'll see how that goes. So yeah, so we will be out there. Oh, me. Yeah. Not Kelly. Well, we could always patch her in. Yeah. So I will let you guys go, and email is not out yet. Oops, email's not. Well, I will be at the watch party at 7:30, so I can definitely hop on the live before and even while I'm there. So yeah, join us tonight on the live, and message me with suggestions as well as what you want to see, and then I will get together a schedule and send it to you guys of where we break this down into. So we're not covering all the topics. We're covering one topic at a time and just kind of going through. And thank you. I'm glad that you liked it because honestly, I was nervous. Again, this was my first time hopping on here and doing that. And didn't want to be boring with a repeat of Tuesday, but it was a lot of info, and we kind of need to pick a starting point of where we go from here, breaking everything down, and we're kind of walking this journey together. So I appreciate that comment that it didn't suck today. But yes, so I will see you guys later. Keep commenting if you have any comments again, or message me. And also with the Bake Genie stuff, we will hook up and figure out what we can work out to get your stuff integrated and moved over, because if you can export the data, it is possible to import the data. So thank you guys. Join us tonight on live, whether we're on Icing Images checking in or over on Whisk Manager or Sugar Reels. We will be somewhere back and forth. Deb will definitely be on Icing Images for the live. So check us out there tonight. And then I will see you guys hopefully next week for another presentation on a specific topic. So thank you guys. I will talk to you later.